Here we see the familiar Wishbass headstock, but what's this? There are frets on this one. This is Wishbass number 866, Scroll. Now, if anybody has seen my other Wishbass demos, they will know that this body shape is not new to me. My first custom Wishbass that I ordered was with the Scroll body shape. I actually saw this bass guitar being discussed on an internet forum, and I emailed the participant and said, you know, if you ever want to get rid of this thing, I got the perfect mate for it, a fretless 4-string Scroll. And 6 months later, a situation arose where we had a very friendly exchange of goods and money, and I am now the proud owner of a 5-string fretted Scroll Wishbass number 866. This one arrived to me stock from Wishbass, which meant it had the EMG Select pickup in it, one volume control and an output jack in the front is how it arrived. This is an ambrosia maple on the front, very pretty figured and interesting looking wood. And it's also got the neck through laminate like all the Wishbasses. This particular bass has a Purple Heart fretboard. The fretwork is done by subcontracted out. I don't know who does it, but it's not Steve Wisniewski. He did everything but the fretwork. And then my biggest concern, of course, this, like all Wishbasses except for custom ordered that request it, this has no truss rod, and on a fretted instrument I was concerned about the implications of not being able to adjust it. But again, the Wishbass necks are so stable and thick, they don't really move at all, with strings or without strings. They don't really change their bow at all. And the original owner assured me that it played smoothly with no dead spots or fret buzzing. And I took him at his word, and it was right on. The modifications to this bass were on the headstock. I rounded out where the strings go to the, well, there you go. I rounded out the headstock where the strings pass through to the tuner so that they don't rub up against the wood. Of course, I stripped the original finish and sanded, and the interior of the Scroll is very difficult to get at and make smooth. And so out of the workshop, it wasn't very smooth at all. And I made a big improvement, but it still has a lot of Wishbass character, shall we say, in the interior of the Scroll. Did a significant amount of shaping on the neck joints of the body, both the bottom and lower, upper and lower bouts. And of course, I dislike immensely one single coil pickup that hums all the time. So I replaced the EMG with a Bartolini 5-string split coil hum canceling pickup. It's actually called stacked coil. Anyway, it sounds like a single coil, but it cancels the hum all by itself. And in my never-ending quest to find something different and interesting to do to these basses, I read about and installed a passive tone control called the Tone Styler for bass. It's basically a low-pass filter. It's a 16-position low-pass filter with 2 kinds of high-pass and then varying degrees of low-pass. And it has a different EQ curve and characteristic to a traditional passive tone, retaining more of the mid-frequencies as it rolls it off. So far, I like it. I haven't played with it yet in a band setting. I think that's what will really shine through. So I have the volume and the Tone Styler, and I moved the output jack to the side to make room for the other passive. It's all passive electronics still, passive pickup. And spent a fair amount of time smoothing, shaping, and again a hand-rubbed tongue oil finish. It's a 34-inch scale with a 0 fret, so the open strings are against the fret and not the nut. It's a fairly narrow string spacing. The nut's 1 7/8 inches for 5-string, and the string spacing at the bridge is 16 millimeters. This particular bass had the one-piece Corian bridge, as is always found on a stock Wishbass. And my first inclination, being a fretted instrument, was that I wanted to have more precise control over the intonation than just angling a one-piece. On the fretless, you can angle a one-piece bridge to get it pretty darn close. And since so much of the intonation on a fretless comes with the micro adjustments of your finger, all you need to be is really pretty close to play with proper intonation. On a fretted, you don't have that luxury. The frets are absolute, and if the intonation's on, it's on. If it's not, it's not. So my first inclination was to put I had a metal barrel style bridge that I could that would fit the string spacing of 16 millimeters that I was going to apply. But I've learned to hold off and not rush into modifications. And I had seen pictures on eBay first and then somewhere else where somebody had taken a Wishbass Corian nut and cut it. Let's see if I can get this in front. And cut it so that you can move each piece individually for the intonation. And I decided to give that a try. It stays with the theory of the Wishbass with a minimal amount of metal in the path of the string. Of course, string through wood, anchored in wood, over Corian. And then the Corian nut, of course, being a fretted, it has to have some metal involved. Other than that, other than the electronics, this bass is also stock. And of course, I did the refinish and number 866, 5-string fretted scroll Wishbass. It's the 5th one, and this one was supremely playable right out of. This is an example of a Wishbass that worked perfectly out of the workshop. Did not need any significant changes to make it playable. It was supremely playable right off the start there, and so it does happen. It happens every once in a while. And without further ado, I will demonstrate the sound of this bass.